Support my content by becoming a patron on patreon.com/JaianMusic.
Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. Today, I am here with my amazing co-host, Hotshot Jinja, in the house. How's it going, buddy?
You always interrupt my middle of the day towards evening nap in order to record these things. This is no exception. I am extremely tired.
It's a genius move, Hotshot. What we are doing right now, this episode, is genius levels of podcasting.
Oh, yay. Smart people, my favorite.
I'm telling you right now, Hotshot, there's something really special about this episode. Before we get into the topic of anime geniuses, though, I have a special announcement. A big thank you to GoProkyo because we now have new thumbnails on every single video. And we also have new thumbnails on every single audio version of the podcast. So big thank you to GoProkyo for that. Go follow him. Link in the description. And also, Anime Podcasters has yet again broken a new boundary. We have now a Bandcamp page where you can download all of the episodes for free or at a price that you want. So if you want to give us a little tip, we'd appreciate it. Isn't that right, Hotshot?
Yes, please pay me to spend time with him. He doesn't do it. He says it's of my own will, but it's really not.
All right, what's your first pick, Hotshot?
Getting right into it.
In all seriousness, so the topic today will be anime geniuses. It was suggested on Discord by one of our Discord members. I really appreciate the suggestion that you gave us in the suggestion channel. So what went into your list when you were putting together your geniuses?
Honestly, when I was putting together mine, it was some people can be geniuses about like everything in their world, and other people can be geniuses or like specialists in like one very specific field. And that's kind of the route that I was going off of. I want them to like be like the utmost smartest in their field. Like they might lack some knowledge or experience in other fields, but in their own, they can't really be challenged with what they're talking about.
No, I see. Okay, for myself, I am going for geniuses that are really good in specific fields, and eclectically, my group is gonna be smarter than yours. Is the way I see it.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. May I go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go first. I think I've gone first for a couple of our lists recently.
I'm stopping your streak right here. Dead in the tracks. In all seriousness, my first pick, I know this one's on your list, so I'm going to have to take it right now.
Okay.
I'm picking Shikamaru from Naruto.
Nope, I didn't put him on my list because I knew you were going to.
Oh, wow, you're so great. Wow, you're so smart, Hotshot. You're such a genius of podcasting. Wow, good job, buddy.
No, I just know who I'm podcasting with.
Fair enough. It's only
go ahead.
90
Go
plus
ahead.
episodes. In all seriousness, I'm picking... if you have an IQ over 200, you're a genius. This ninja has been selected to lead missions because of his brain power. He, like for the Sasuke retrieval arc, if it's not just that, he was the only person that passed the Chunin exams technically, and that's because of how like remarkable he was in the third Hokage's eye. Everything that Shikamaru does and why we respect him is because of his brain power. There's a reason why he's like the #1 consultant for Naruto and Boruto. It's because of how smart he is. I mean, if it's not him using the shadow position jutsu in super elaborate ways, or if it's not him taking out Hidan, or it's not him using his shirt with a kunai attached to it as a way to extend his shadow position jutsu, if it's not him being able to ambush like 10 Chunin sound or sand ninjas and like stop them dead in their tracks, I mean, the guy's just ingenious. You can't. He's the logo of the Naruto think tank because he thinks all the time.
He's incredibly smart. He's just in later years they changed this, and I am very thankful for it. But he's very smart. He's just absolutely not motivated.
But when he like gets into gear, the guy like just kills it every time.
No, he annihilates it every time. The first instance or the first thing I really think of when I think Shikamaru and his smart tactics is actually in the preliminary rounds for the Chunin exams when he's fighting. I can't remember who, but she's the ninja from the Sound Village.
Her name is Kin.
Kin, thank you. When he's fighting Kin and using the shadow possession to trace under her thread in order to get to her shadow, and she just doesn't notice.
And then how he uses the shuriken jutsu. Well, not jutsu, but the shuriken, and like she's closer to the wall, and bang,
Yeah.
knocks out.
At
Now
that-
who's hearing bells was his line. I love that episode. Sorry.
Ah, jeez. And that also rings it to me because back then, I don't know if it's changed since then, but back then, whatever Shikamaru did to the person in the shadow would also reflect to him, or like if someone hit someone else who was in shadow possession jutsu, it would hurt him. Because, but
100%.
Huh?
100%. I am agreeing with you.
Okay. But when Kin hit her head on the back of the wall, Shikamaru didn't hit anything. But later on, when he possesses Gaara and Naruto punches Gaara, it hurts him somehow. I never really got that continuity for that move. That's not me questioning his intellect or anything. That's just me questioning the continuity of the one jutsu.
We've discussed this before. What happens is that when she's leaning back, he releases the jutsu.
Oh.
And she's already in a motion where she's falling back, and boom, hits her head.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he thinks like 8 steps ahead, bro.
No, yeah, okay, you're right. I just forgot about that one. And of course,
8 steps ahead of your picks, bro, because my picks are better than yours, bro.
But of course, there are two other fights I think of Shikamaru immediately, and that's his fight in the finals with Tamari, who literally is an intellectual too, and has him backed against the wall until like the last moment, and also his fight against Tana, who actually does have him pushed against the wall, not giving him any move to plan anything.
Who's Tana?
The from the Sound Village 4 in the Sasuke retrieval arc.
No, her name was not Tana. I'm forgetting her name, but it wasn't Tana. Wait, let me look it up. Now you're making me. It's not Tana, dude.
I think it was Tana, like Tnyna.
Tayuya.
Tayuya. Okay, I was close.
Tana. What's a Tana?
Well,
Tana
apparently
bricks.
Well, apparently her. Look, it's been a few years.
Yeah, a few decades.
But intellectually, there really isn't anyone else you want in your corner other than Shikamaru, except maybe Tamari, just because she can rival him at times, but he always comes out on top. Otherwise, he wouldn't have won the tuning exam match.
Well, he didn't win the tuning exam match.
Well, he would have, but he forfeited.
Yeah,
he was out of chakra.
Yeah, I love him so much. All right, enough about Shikamaru. Who's your first pick of geniusness? Who's really smart but not smarter than mine?
This might actually surprise you a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead for it anyway.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick Deku from Hero Academia.
I mean, I understand why you're saying that.
Okay.
I already understand why, but go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's not smarter than Shikamaru, but just hear me out. With him being able to actually study and analyze basically every hero and every villain, even to the point of having a notebook compiled of like their weaknesses. Like, he's the ultimate fanboy, but at the same time, he's also studying them to see like if he could defeat them, like how would he go about it? Like, what are their weaknesses? What do they rely on? What are they strong against? What are they weak against? But every time he comes against a opponent who like he hasn't met before, like the first time he met Shigaraki, for example, or God forbid the first time he met Numu, obviously he goes into a panic with his analytical style of being able to remember what he's seen each hero do and remember what they've been weak against. There's just that. Especially in a quick paced one-on-one fight, whenever you're a hero trying to take down a villain, or hell, even when he's trying to figure out like how a villain works, like when he Todoroki and no, not Bakyo, Ida. Okay.
Yeah, Tana. Dude, that was the name you said earlier. I was making a joke.
Fuck you. Anyway, when he, Ida, and Todoroki were fighting against Stain, Deku was the one who found out like why some people who have been affected by Stain later were getting back on their feet first. He figured out how it worked and gave that strategy. Granted, until later he didn't really have great strategies in an actual fight, including himself. Like basically putting all of his power into one move and breaking all of his arm or all of his leg or all of his finger. But at the same time, when he didn't have another method, he also thought to only use like one finger at a time in order to give himself like 10 moves that he could do with with one for all, instead of just immediately shattering his arm and giving up on the rest of the entrance exam.
Okay, I do see him as I'll say it. I don't see him as a genius. I see him as someone who has the qualities of a genius. Basically, so
being
he's
a genius,
he's hardworking, he uses his intellect in battle, and those would qualify him as maybe a subpar genius. He's not like a brainiac. That's not what we think of Deku as, you know? But I understand your point.
No, that's why I went into this thinking or saying they have a lot. My geniuses at least have a lot to learn about a lot of other aspects, like whether it is just gaining experience about the world in general. But they're genius in what they do and love. And with Deku, that is being statistical and analytical about
opponents or situations,
about like a hero's stats and like what it, and how quick he can adapt to that.
I see what you mean on that, and that's fair enough. I just feel like from like he's not going to be in the library 24/7, and there's a different forms of genius. He's a different type of genius. There's a way to argue it, but I wouldn't give him specifically the genius label. But I mean, agree to disagree, Hotshot. This is why we podcast together, because I disagree with your agreements.
That's fair.
You're like, okay.
don't worry. I have genuine geniuses in here too. That'll balance it out. So we're
go
good.
With my next genius. This one's gonna blow your mind. Goku.
All right. Damn it! I actually had Goku on mine.
That's because I've been pausing everything with you, and yeah, you were gonna pick it. And my name's Hotshot, and I can predict the future.
Why the fuck is Goku a brainiac when Deku isn't? Apparently,
Goku is a specific type of genius. He's a fighting genius. Okay,
and that's exactly what my argument was going to be when I brought up Goku.
Great minds.
Okay, full disclosure, just real quick before we get too into it. I actually pitched my list to Kyo, who I actually have a few backups on too, so don't worry. And I brought up Goku, and Kyo immediately was like, I don't really know about that one.
Yeah, well, that's why we're doing the podcast together, because we think alike. Great minds think alike, Hotshot.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it, and you're not doing it with Kyo. He's just too different.
No, but in all seriousness, the man failed the driving test. The man's got no education. The man doesn't know how to educate his son, or even take care of his son, or raise his son. The man comes back after a year of being in outer space. All right, the man, you know, what was the first thing he wanted to do, Hotshot? What was the first thing he wanted to do after a whole year? Train.
Fight more. The thing that got him killed.
But that's like how he thinks. That's what he does. That's a saying it with his same blood. There's nothing else to it. As a fighter, he's ingenious.
I legitimately think the only one who trains more than Goku is Vegeta.
Or is comparable, and that's another Saiyan. Training. I agree, but the point I'm trying to make here is that I want to highlight some like battle tactic moments that I loved when he was fighting Frieza on Namek, and he fired off 2 Kamehamehas in the water and kept them in the water and used them as like projectiles to fight against Frieza. Or when he's fighting against Jiren in Dragon Ball Super during the Tournament of Power, he used that secret destructo disc move where he's on the ledge of a rock, right? And Jiren's about to strike him. And we're all like, oh no, Goku's gonna get knocked out. But he had fired these destructo discs that cut the ground around Jiren, right? So he's falling down, and he just instant transmissions out of the way and knocks Jiren down. And everyone's like, oh my god, this guy actually like was able to push Jiren down. That's ridiculous. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Or
one of my favorites, when he was fighting Cell in the Cell games, and we got the first use of instant transmission Kamehameha.
I mean, there's so many different moments.
That is one of my favorite moves ever, and that is the birthplace of it.
There's so many moves we can highlight. The man's a genius. The man's a fighting genius. He's not a fighting dreamer.
Everywhere else, he's as dumb as a brick.
Genius at fighting.
But
any other highlights you want to put on? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, bro.
It's pretty self-explanatory with Goku, because I mean, the one thing that he loves most is fighting. Like, obviously, he cares for his friends. He does care for his family, just not in the typical sense. But when it comes to fighting, especially when he gets serious, he turns into this like deadly tactician, just laser focus on the fight, especially like going into Super Saiyan 3, for example. Like, yeah, he gets cocky and arrogant, but at the same time, he's still learning like moves against new opponents, or wanting to fight against stronger opponents until he can eventually beat them so
But
he can
bro,
find
how could
stronger
you not be
opponents.
cocky with the
So-
longest, shiniest, golden hair of all times, and literally everyone can feel your presence across the universe? I'm sorry, but like, it's impossible to not be cocky at that point. You know what I'm saying?
And then he met
Yeah,
met Barris.
Your next pick. Your next pick. What's
That's
your
why.
next pick, buddy? Best buddy ever.
My next pick, since you stole Goku from me, I'm just gonna take this one because I'm pretty sure it'd be on your list, and if not, then I'm just happy I have it anyway. I'm choosing Blank from No Game No Life.
Not on my list at all. No, in fact, pretty dumb.
Okay.
Genius, if you ask me.
He says as he erases from his
Yeah,
notebook,
no, but-
Blank.
Sure. Blank is smart, but I don't know.
Blank has never been beaten in a game, though. And the one time that okay, so if you guys don't know, Blank is actually a team. It's a pair of siblings. I remember Shiro's name. Unfortunately, I
Sora?
don't remember the brother's name. Sora, thank you. Okay, Sora and Shiro. They act as a team online called Blank, and they are extraordinary gamers, even to the point where they can both play two characters in an
All right, I
MMO
can't keep it up. I love these guys.
simultaneously.
They're super smart.
like
I
each.
can't. That was kidding. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And when they get transported to a world that is all about gaming, they quickly overtake like the entire kingdom and then just start going all over the world, like basically to unite the world back to
Yeah, only took them
back
12
to how
episodes.
it was. Or to basically through the 12 episodes, and I'm so sad that it was only 12
gotta watch the
episodes
movie,
because I
bro.
love this show. But I know. But throughout the series, Sora and Shiro met challenge after challenge. It was a true life and death game basically every time, and they always won. They were always like 12 plants ahead. And in the finale, yes, I'm going to spoil it here, when they were transported into an FPS kind of game, and it was revealed that was what Shiro was the best at, and pretended to go along with the bad guys' plan only until they got the final shot. It was amazing. just that kind of tactician, even to the point where like Sora knew the plan, but everyone else, even the viewers, had absolutely no idea until it showed a flashback of it.
100%. But like these guys,
And okay, wait. One more bit from it. The part that breaks my heart most is when Sora and Shiro are separated, and Shiro has to solve the puzzle on her own to bring Sora
Yeah, it was
back.
a whole game,
You remember that? Yeah, I'm just that game just kind of broke my heart, just because seeing them separated from each other is soul crushing
Here's
to
the thing, though.
watch.
I feel like they're geniuses, definitely. But they're like, I don't think like genius is like high enough to describe them. Like they literally fell into an estranged world and were able to dominate it. They used the rules that were being explained to them as they're falling down, the 10 rules, and they're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna take over. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but admittedly, the world was literally based around what they did for life. It was based around gaming, what they
It's still
lived,
like-
what they breathed,
It's
probably
still
what they
like
bled.
a complete culture shock at the very least.
You're absolutely right, because whereas in the real world you could play a game of like Call of Duty and like, oh damn, I lost, and that's it. In this world, you lose a game of Call of Duty, you could end up as someone's slave, or you could die, or have to give up like your entire castle, or like there's actual risk and reward here. But at the same time, they're like, all right, you know what? It's still a game, and I'm still gonna kick your ass.
Essentially it. I really like this series, and fair enough on the pick, dude.
What was okay? Out of actual curiosity, like not for a bit, did you
I did
actually
not.
have Blank on your list? Oh, okay. I was actually
My next
surprised by that.
Is a genius in a very specific sense, just like Goku. I think that this person, what?
Rick.
Rick? What?
Rick.
What do you mean, Rick?
Rick.
That's
From
not
Rick
an
and
anime.
Morty, you idiot.
I'm in anime mode.
It
It's not.
can be. All right. Sorry. I couldn't resist. Go for it.
My next pick is gonna be Hotshot because he's an idiot. That's the metaphor. No, I'm kidding. Oh, jeez. No,
I mean, you're
in all
right.
seriousness, my next pick is I'm bouncing back to Naruto here, but I'm gonna pick Rock Lee.
You're gonna have to explain this one.
Rock Lee is a genius when it comes to taijutsu and training. Rock Lee is the perfect example of take a character and dedicate them to a singular craft. Like, this man only did taijutsu, and as a kid, as a 12-year-old kid, he was able to open 5 out of the 8 gates through sheer effort, hard work, passion. I love this character so much, and all of the energy he had, he put it into one thing, and he mastered it. It was ridiculous to see him fight at Gaara's level. No one should be moving that fast at that age, you know? Where, like, Kakashi has to literally take out his Sharingan and be like, where's he at? What's going on here? Like, that's ridiculous. It takes a certain level of genius, a very, very high level of genius, to be able to accomplish such a thing. Like, when it comes to strict, like, in a very specific sense, he is a genius because of that. Because of his mastery and hard work and incredible prowess in taijutsu. Like, he's a genius in that sense. Come on, man. He's able to do a forbidden jutsu at like 12, the primary lotus. He's able to open gates. How is he not a genius?
I mean, that's really more, in my eyes at least, that's really more of a testament to his hard work than his genius level intellect. I mean, you're right. When it comes to taijutsu, he is a genius.
Exactly.
Guy even
That's
says
my
so
point.
himself, that he is a
That's my
genius
point.
at taijutsu. And the thing that strikes me the most about that, or like that sparks that idea most in my head, is typically in a primary lotus, you kick the enemy up and then just immediately dive down. But Lee, knowing that he had to keep Gaara away from his sand, kicked him up into the air, something that Guy didn't even know that he could do, or that he would even have thought of. So you're right in that aspect when it comes to taijutsu. I mean, I'm like laser focused on Genin Lee, because I know when he gets older, he does get smarter, and there's more like battle tactician and like mission savvy experience there. But thinking of Genin level Lee, I'm just thinking of just his hard work and his determination, not really his genius getting in the way of his taijutsu.
No,
That's just how I think
to
of it.
his accomplishments, and tell me what kind, like
taking down
opening,
Gaara, or
like
essentially taking down
the
Gaara.
gates, a very high,
Okay.
like, basically the highest level of taijutsu at that point. Being, you know, like Kitashi's a Jonin,
Okay.
and he's able to open one, and Rock Lee's a Genin, he's able to open. You know what I'm saying?
And he's able to
like,
5,
and he trained himself, and he put all the work into that, where he had to like think in a certain way, and his mental toughness had to be like extremely pushed to the limit. And you can't tell me an idiot can't do that. A normal thinking person can't do that. A genius can do that. So he is a genius in that very specific sense.
I am gonna give this one to you, because you're right. He has to have, especially like we said with Goku, with what he does, he is probably the smartest way to go about it and the smartest way to improve himself, and he is a genius in that regard. It's just from my point of view, I will still call him a genius for your sake on this, but for my sake, I just see that as more of a drive of determination than anything else.
I feel like you're looking more at the personality traits than the actual brain power.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally, he has to use...
Because that's what I see the most of. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I accept it, and you are right, because you're right. Especially at that young, only a genius in his certain field could open that many gates. Only a genius could use a forbidden taijutsu, or be able to push himself that far and know like the limit in order to what he has to do to get himself further. And you're right, that is a genius. But to me, it's just he doesn't want to lose to anybody. It's his determination to prove that he is a splendid ninja. And I'm borrowing that line from him.
100%. Never give up, Hotshot.
That's actually a poster of Lee that I had when I was a
Never
kid.
give up,
Not gonna
Hotshot.
lie. Okay, maybe not the Hotshot part, but I actually in Photoshop had a picture of Lee and then never give up next to it. It was probably one of the most dorky things I made.
The dorkiest thing you've made is this podcast, but okay. Okay.
That's agreeable.
What's your next pick?
All right, my next pick, and hopefully you'll actually agree with me here, is Izzy from Digimon.
I'm gonna have to refresh my memory here.
Izzy is the one with Tenemon. He's the brain hacker kid, basically the one who wanted to go to computer camp instead of summer camp with the rest of the Digidestined.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah. This one has like brain traits for sure.
He's the one who will investigate the Digi world. Like everyone else just wants to get home really, but he's the one who wants to explore and like decode basically the entire world find out like where they are, when they are. He even uses Tentamon and his own laptop to basically deconstruct glyphs in order to get a map of a forbidden temple that they get locked inside. For one instance, he is also able to decode or understand language after a while. He's the one giving like he doesn't exactly give strategic advice. Like in terms of battle, he's not really much of a help, admittedly. It's more so of I can help show you the world. I can help like give you a battle map. Like I can help you get everything you need to plan for survival here. And it's just kind of he's one of those early stage kids that are just like so laser focused on being the intellectual that he blocks off like friends and he blocks off any interaction. Is just him and his laptop. So for a while, he's such a pain in the ass because of that. But at the same time, he's helped them out of more than a few scrapes. I think that
this one is arguable. I don't know this character that well. But like I feel like if you had the gang, he's like the brain kid, and that's why he's being picked because he's smarter out of the group of people he's like a part of. He's the smartest one.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna pick Ty. Ty is not a genius. No, Ty's an idiot.
You see what I mean, right?
I could. Honestly, it's kind of arguable between oh man, what's his name? Simon? No, damn it, I can't think of his name. It's a kind of a tough choice between Izzy and the blue-haired one with the glasses.
I don't know. No idea.
The one that gets scared all the time. I can't think of his name, but like, between the two
blue hair character.
But between okay, I'm looking. I'm going.
Look up JaianMusic.com, then go on Patreon and also like pledge like at least $8 a month.
Hack into that and delete. Perfect. Glad I thought of it.
But while you're saying that, the point I was trying to make earlier is that I feel like Izzy is a valid pick in the sense that when you compare Izzy to the entire group of the Digimon cast, the smartest character is Izzy because brains is what we notice the most out of this character. Intellect is what we notice the most, and because of those traits are like the ones that are like accentuated on more than any other for this specific character. Then that's why they're a genius.
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of what I'm basing most of mine off of is the fact that it's their world that I see them in, not really like in the grand scope of things. So I mean, like who's the genius in like their own world? You know what I mean?
So did you find that character name?
I am still searching for it. I had to search up like DigiDestin for it. So Joe, his name is Joe. It's Joe Keto.
Boring name.
I know.
All of that for a single
that's
syllable?
Why I'm like, it's
Joe.
That's why I was like, it's an English name. It's like incredibly easy to remember, and I could not think of it. I could think of Izzy, but I could not
my
think
next
of
character
Joe.
His name could be even shorter than Joe if I wanted it to be.
I mean, it could, but do you really want
it
to be?
Can I go to my next character?
Yeah, I'm still gonna say Izzy is the genius on that side. Didn't really give him much attention. It was just us bampling.
The smartest character out of this entire podcast is about to be picked. I'm picking L from Death Note.
Okay.
Am I right or am I right?
I mean, you're right. I picked L and Light for the top 10 intellectual battles way back when, if you remember.
L is a character in Death Note. Long story short, they are a super genius detective that solved all these crimes, and they get put on the Kira case, where Light Yagami picks up a death note, writes down a bunch of names, people die. I'm giving you a very abrupt and short version of it. And Al is able to crack the code and figure out that Light is Kira, which is insane because Light is a genius in his own right, even smarter than L, honestly, because he outsmarts L out, but L is able to keep up, and I love L so much because of his deduction power. He's always able to think 5 steps ahead. Whenever Light comes up with an ingenious plan, L's like, oh, okay, this is probably what's happening, and L is right. Like, for example, when they figure out that the deaths are happening specifically on weeknights and weekends, they're like, oh, it's very likely that Kira is a student because the scheduling of the deaths matched with the student. Light father works for the police task force, so is able to get that information. And after that, what happens is that Light starts killing off criminals every hour of every day. And so everyone's like, oh, I guess it's not a student anymore. And then L's like, no, you guys are stupid. This means that Kira has access to our information. So we have to investigate people or families, close people around the police task force. You see what I mean? Like, he's able to deduce all these crazy things where everyone's like, oh, it's gotta be A. He's like, no, guys, it's clearly W. You know what I mean? That's what I love about L. It's clearly L.
I mean, you got a point on that one. And I know I say this every time we bring up Death Note, especially L. But when I think of L, the first thing I think of is the scene where he's quote unquote taking a test with Light in a class and just bluntly puts, I wanted to tell you that I'm L. And you pointed this out a couple of times. It's a brilliant tactician move on him, because if Light makes a move against him and somehow kills L, or even hell writes against L will know that this hunch was right. And if he does nothing, he'll know that L is still watching him.
I mean, the way I saw the situation is that Light doesn't know if the person that's telling him that they are L is actually L.
Is actually
they kill
L.
this person, maybe it's a decoy, and the real L will be like, so it's Kira, you know? And I love that, because in that scene, what happens after that, Light takes a cab home, he walks into his room, he sits down, Ryuk's like, so that was interesting. And he snaps. He slams both hands against his desk. He's like, damn it! He got me! And he freaks out on Light. And he's like, don't think that humans killing humans and Shinigami killing humans is the same thing. And he explains the flaw of the Death Note. And that's what's great about L. L was able to point out the flaw of the Death Note when he didn't even know about the Death Note's existence. This guy can see into the future, dude.
I mean, I don't know about that part. I mean, if he did, he wouldn't have died.
Man. Oh, that's a sore subject.
just like that. It just as soon as I drop his dead body, you stop talking about him.
I love his brain power. I love, like, super smart character for sure.
And I do too. And I've made it very clear. Don't like Death Note, but I respect the hell out of it for smart characters like Light and L. I just don't find it very interesting to watch 100%. Long term.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that all you had on L then?
First, your fourth pick. Sorry.
Yeah, and then your last one after that. All right. This one might be a little bit of a kick for you, but I think you'll understand why. I'm picking Levi from Attack on Titan.
Okay, go ahead.
What, you don't think he's a genius?
Seen a part of his genius with only season 1.
Okay, but you can really dive deep into that.
A bunch of stuff.
No, I know. But I mean, even if that's the case, like, even if I've only seen part of what Levi is capable of, he's a standout leader. He basically, like, cold and calculating in order to get Titans and, like, funnel Titans to, like, the most optimal spot, or striking the most optimal spot. I mean, it's his plan to when they're in the forest to capture Annie, right? When she's on the run.
It was partly his plan and also the captain's plan, Erwin.
Okay. But, okay, so it was Erwin and Levi's plan, but Levi still contributed to that after Annie had basically desecrated the entire squadron they went out with, and they were still able to pull this kind of plan together and know that something like this could work in the future. His just, like, quick movements and understanding of, like, how the Titans work and what to aim for first in order to quickly get rid of them. Like, he didn't get his own squad for nothing, and he really fucking shows it. You know, like, even if I'm just pulling from season 1, it's just very clear, like, 100%. Why he's the leader. Now, if you want to dip a toe into spoiler territory and give me more of an example of his genius that you know, I will give you permission to do that.
Okay, this is like more than a toe, though. This is like the most recent season and, like, something that he did that was, like, super smart.
Okay, I mean, you're not spoiling the entire season, so it's like soaking in an entire way.
Okay, so
go for it.
The scout regiment is at this point where they're retaking the city that was once destroyed in season 1, right? And they get cornered by these Titans, and the plan that gets developed is that the Beast Titan is basically throwing all these rocks towards the city where they're at, and they're killing all the horses that the Scout Regiment has, so they can't run away. And so the plan gets developed, and Levi plays the most important, where basically Erwin takes all of the scouts that are still alive on their horses, and they charge the Beast Titan as a way to distract the Beast Titan. And the Beast, it's like a suicide move. It's everyone charges the Beast Titan, and he throws rocks, and they're all gonna die. And meanwhile, while that's happening, this line of Titans gets killed one at a time by Levi, who is able to get all the way to the Beast Titan and fight against the Beast Titan. It was ingenious because we're able to like have a distraction and have Levi be the killer blow. So I really loved that entire like sequence. It was really great, and he's like a genius for the ways he was able to maneuver the plan and able to execute it.
And that one was entirely planned out by
Erwin
Levi,
came
right?
up. Erwin and Levi.
Like
Erwin
that.
and Levi. I think Erwin's the more.
It seems like when it comes to plans, like it's those two that have like the most solid and laid out, like ones
Yes.
that will typically work unless something goes
Exactly.
horribly
Yeah.
wrong.
So that's that's basically how it went down. Great performance and great fighting by Levi.
I was honestly debating for a while. I was actually debating between 3 Attack on Titan characters because they're all kind of smart in their own right. Even Eren, as hard as that is for me to say. But I was debating between Levi, Mikasa, and Armin.
No, Levi.
Yeah, no, that's why I picked him. It was mainly between him and Mikasa, but
All right.
yeah, no, Levi. Anyway,
My final
your
pick. I'm
last
picking
pick
from my favorite anime. I'm picking 9
God
from
damn it.
Zankyou no Terror. 9 is a teenage child. A teenage character from Zankyou no Terror. Basically, he was experimented on, but on this plan called the Athena plan. And in Zankyou no Terror, he's part of the terrorist group known as Sphinx with his brother, Ally 12, and he is the hacker character, the ingenious character who is able to like pull off these incredible catastrophic attacks in Tokyo, Japan that I love. Like he sets up these riddles that the police has to figure out, or if it's not that, he's there and he's able to hack into the system of a subway to have a bombing occur, and all the bombings he does throughout Zankyou no Terror all have a meaning, and he's really like the brain of Sphinx. He's the one who plans out everything, and I just love this character so much. And I know, so you've seen this anime already, Hotshot, so you know what I'm talking about.
It's kind of hard to argue that 9, or really their group in general, isn't really geniuses when it comes to their plans. It's just the fact that the circumstances that they have to be geniuses, or the field that they were trained to be geniuses in, is just a little more than unfortunate.
Yeah, of course. I just like a specific example I remember is when he has this ability where he's able to like visualize areas in a very precise manner. Like if it's not the chess game in the airport where he switches the cameras and rewinds them, so they're seeing a camera feed of 5 minutes ago and they're able to catch 5 in their track. Or it's him in the first episode where he tells Lisa exactly where to move to survive and everything. And like just like has super amazing like planned out strikes that he does, and he unfortunately at the end of Zankyou no Terror, like this is spoiler territory, his death is not in vain because the government collapses and everyone gets made aware of the Athena plan, and he succeeds in his mission.
Okay, so two things real quick. One, it's kind of a down talk on 9, just slightly. He is a brilliant tactician when it comes to like making out plans and runs for him and 12. But the one thing that he doesn't do all that well, or like at least gracefully, is improvise when plans don't go according to plan.
Like what's an example? I'm actually really curious about what you mean by that.
Mainly the example is like the first mission where Lisa comes into the picture. And then 9's also like, well, fuck, now I got to worry about her getting out too.
That's because 12 gave her the option, gave him the option. Like, do you want to kill her or do you want to have her join us and become an accomplice? Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair criticism. What's your other point?
That's literally my only example that I can pull off the top of my head. There might be more, but that's the only one that comes to mind. The other thing is, and this is just like my own personal memory playing tricks on me. I remember 12 getting shot from the
Wow.
helicopter. But how does
9
9
dies
die?
because he has brain traumas throughout the anime, and he gets one final brain trauma. At the
Oh,
end.
so that finally eats away at him. Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah. I'm like, I remember 12 getting shot, but I don't remember 9
no, he
even
does die.
dying.
He sees the birds and everything. Yeah, no. Oh, that scene
No,
breaks
yeah,
my heart
I remember
every
now.
time, man.
I mean, like Death Note, I respect the hell out of it. I just didn't really enjoy watching it, but for emotional scenes like that, yeah, no, even casual watchers,
really
it
does.
fucking
It really,
hurts.
really does. All right, Hotshot, your final character for anime geniuses.
Okay. This one, I've talked about the show a couple of times. I've talked to you about the show on and off podcasts, and I still don't know if you watched it. I'm talking about Makoto
Nope
from Danganronpa.
idea.
God damn it, Jaden. Anyway, Makoto in the original Danganronpa in the first season is well, if you're playing the game, he's your main character. He's the character you play as. But in the show, he's kind of the lead. He's the every student has a ultimate title. So like the ultimate tennis player, or the ultimate sprintsman, or the ultimate seamstress. Makoto is just labeled as the ultimate lucky student, and there's no real explanation until later in the show as to why that is his title. But throughout the show, when there's murders afoot, when there's clues to be found, and basically like straight up detective work, he's the one who always manages to finger the murderer. It's based on different information he's getting at the time. So he does his own investigation when it comes to the actual murder, because you have time to investigate it and get clues before having to go to the trial. But when he's on the trial, he can immediately point out like, hey, wait, no, that's wrong. And he can basically back anyone he wants into a corner. This is gonna be spoiler territory, but I don't really care at this point.
No, go ahead, sorry.
If he was ever a murderer, or like if he was ever one of the ones who killed in order to get away, I have a feeling that he would be one of the only few to actually get away with it. He works with another student quite closely throughout majority of the show, but a lot of the deductions and everything are basically him coming to the conclusion on his own, because that's what you had to do in the game. You had to pick out the facts, you had to gather the clues, and he was your character, so he's going to be the smartest one, because he's the one who usually won. But I'll be honest, in Danganronpa, there is no such thing as winning. It's just lose or stay alive.
I mean, that's basically the whole point of the anime, I think.
Yeah, it's literally the theme of the anime is hope versus despair. And that is what Makoto encapsulates. He throughout. Damn it! I'm trying to word this so I don't like give everything away about him.
We can leave it at that, because I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say with like the hope versus the despair thing. That makes sense to me. No stress.
But just know the hope versus despair aspect is why Yuki loves this show so much, and why I love this show so much. The only thing is, she is on the side of despair, and she keeps one thing she did when it came out, when Danganronpa V3, the third game in the series, came out, she actually bought it for me and literally told me the phrase, "I want you to feel this despair." And I'm on the side of hope, where I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to come out of this alive. So it's literally us just batting heads about this series, and it has been for years. And I honestly kind of love that about it.
Full circle hope is exactly like what 9 had in Zenki no Terror, you know? Van, the Icelandic word. Hope.
Honestly, that's what a lot of these geniuses have in common, is that they have hope that they can turn a shitty scenario into something better than shitty.
For sure. I see that with 9 for sure.
Yeah.
I see that with Al.
You see that for Goku.
How do you see it for Goku? No, I don't.
I don't really. I was just listing. our list.
I don't see it for what was Shikamaru? No.
Yeah. No, that's fair. If that's the end of our list, can I give one honorable mention? You'd have more to say about this character than I do, but I at least think it's worth a mention. Dr. Stone.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of stopped after episode 14. I need to finish it. Yeah.
I stopped after episode 1, so you definitely know more. But even in that aspect, if you only watch one episode and know what kind of intellectual your main character is, you can see
Do
what
you
kind of
know
ride
how
you're
much
in
of a genius
for.
this guy is? This guy turned into stone and realized the only way he could stay alive was to keep thinking at all times, just to keep thinking. And how did he do that? He counted in his head until his stone cracked and he was able to like come to life. I don't
What
know,
was
but
the
it was
number
like
he got
the
to?
gajillions of billions of millions of put the zeros with zeros with zeros. Something you see on Death Battle, you know, like 6,000 quintillion megatons of counting.
Yeah, RPGs cap out at 9,999 damage.
Yeah,
No, this
basically.
guy went way above that. But just because like it's rare anymore that we get a full on show focused on just an intellectual character and like intellectual ways of how the
Right.
world works and how to like all that kind of stuff. It's just rare that we get that nowadays, so I thought he was at least worth a mention if nothing else. I just didn't have him on my actual list because I haven't watched enough of the show to talk about him. All right, with that said, you want to go ahead and recap your list real quick and we'll go ahead and wrap
I wrote
out?
them all down here because I am prepared. Okay, so my list, I had Rock Lee, Goku, Shikamaru, L, and 9. What about you, Hotshot?
I had Deku, Blank, Izzy, Levi, and Makoto. I also had it written down on my phone.
Your honorable mention was?
Was Dr. Stone.
All right, so where can people find you online, Hotshot?
You guys can find me right here on JaianMusic's channel. The only show I'm a part of is Anime Podcasters, but that might change. It probably won't, but we'll see. You guys can also find me over on my channel, Hotshot Ginger, where I have the sister podcast, PonsuCast, where me and GoProkyo talk about the less than clean aspect of anime, because we all know that exists. And you guys can find me over on Twitter at Caution
Amazing.
Ginger.
The artwork for Anime Podcasters is provided by GoProkyo. He has amazing drawings, and he's available for hire. Go hit him up in the DMs at GoProkyo. For myself, I'm at JaianMusic everywhere. JaianMusic.com is my website, and you can go check out everything I do on YouTube.com/JaianMusic. Join the JaianMusic Discord server, and just follow me at JaianMusic everywhere. I always appreciate it. And now, for a very special announcement that I'm very happy to announce. This is episode 95. And starting with the next episode, we are starting the road to 100. A special idea we've been planning for months and months. Something I didn't want to unveil at the beginning of the podcast. This is how it's going to go down, and I'm very excited to announce it. So, the next 3 episodes, 96, 97, and 98, will be 2.0s. Of our choosing, one for myself, one for GoProkyo, and one for Hotshot. And then episode 99 will be a fan-voted favorite moments of the podcast, the ultimate Climp show. And then 100, I'm not going to say what it is. It's Hotshot's genius idea of a podcast, and we're going to be finishing off this episode run over the next few months with this scheduling. I am very excited, Hotshot. How do you feel about it, buddy?
And that will be the end of our series
don't say
entirely.
That. I want to keep going.
No, but in all seriousness, I am really looking forward to it. We've been planning episode 100 for months. We feel like it's a much needed to actually discuss topic out of our years and years of actually doing this together as a team now. But once we do reach that milestone, that will be the end of season 1 of Anime Podcast.
Really? I don't know. Why
That's what we're doing,
bro. We just keep going.
We don't. But I feel like I just felt like it fit the theme.
I mean, I don't even know how I would put a season on the podcast segregation thing. I mean, we'll just
every 5.5 years we have to get out 100 episodes, and then we just start another season.
Yeah.
We never do episode 101. We just do episode 1, episode 2, episode 3
Oh my
3
gosh!
all over again.
My brain hurts just thinking about that. No, I like having a triple digit number. I can't. No, we're not starting back to 1. We're not doing that.
But we can. The option is available to us.
That's gonna be everything. So for myself and Hotshot, this has been another episode of
Anime Podcasters.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Anime Podcasters. If you would like to support the podcast, you can find audio downloads on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Google Play. If you would like to support the voices in this podcast, follow their links in the description and the Twitter handles on screen. See you next time, weebs.